Hey guys, welcome back to another Project Monday now. I didn't really do too much work in the last week of my TARDIS console, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of a show and tell basically, because what you saw was us finally put together. You haven't seen it in my space yet, unless you've been following me on Instagram, and you may have seen the pictures there, but I really want to show you this. Plus I want to talk about some of the parts I've received, and then a little bit what I'm doing here. And you can probably see there's some stuff on the console's panels right now, and I wanted to kind of explain that. So I'm very much methodical when it comes to knowing how things go. So I spent a lot of time on Illustrator. Now we went over this back a few episodes ago, back before we even started building, then I started actually compiling a part list and getting sizes and stuff like that. Because these are shrunk down, because these are 40 inches rather than about the 50-inch panels that are on the show one, some concessions have to be made, and I didn't want to make concessions on parts. Now, very few parts, maybe one or two, actually have to be scaled down. Whereas everything else is going to be the actual size part. And to get the actual size part dimensions, I wanted to get some actual parts. Now this may be seen like that's a pipe dream. Maybe you can find some dials and switches and whatnot, where you can get some of these other hard to find things. How do you know what things are? Do you know what they're all called? And really that's the big thing about this, is what are these parts called? What are their names? And thankfully, I've been finding lots of pieces. Now, some of the parts I've got today that I'm going to show you are not the full pieces that I have completely. I have another friend in the UK who has some parts for me that I haven't got yet. I have another friend in the US who has some parts that I haven't got yet. Once those comes in, I can't wait to actually show them and share them with you as well. But they're gonna make a big difference on what I have here so far. So starting off, I'm gonna give a big shout out and big thank you to my friend James in the UK. Now, there is a place over in the UK called Bob's Bits. I'm gonna put his website down below. It's Bob's Bits, or .tv or something like that, but go check it out for sure. I think his name comes from the whole Bits and Bobs types thing, but basically he is a vendor or a warehouse supplier over there that have a lot of things like dials and gauges and switches and lights and everything you name it. He just gathers it all together and rents it out to movie productions and sells them off to movie productions and people, whatever you're looking for, and you can get pieces there. And I found him way back when the series first started, and I found a number of pieces that he had there, and when I was kind of interested in maybe tackling the 10th Doctor console, at least identifying some of the pieces. Now when this one came up, I noticed a number of parts were on his website, and I was able to send my friend James to go take a look to see what else he had, and he found me a number of actual authentic parts. I'm gonna throw a picture up right here so you can see it, and I can't be more than excited about the fact that he had pretty much everything I really wanted from him. Some things I don't need to worry about. I can find on eBay and whatnot, but some parts were immensely hard to find. So looking at this image that you can see here, it's things like there's a slow motion dial here, which is silver instead of black from the real ones, and I need two, but they only had one. So I'm gonna have to cast it or 3D print another one to kind of match, but that's okay. At least I have one real one. The galvanometer, the brass switch here, no idea what that one is. The keyboard, which I'm gonna go over in a second, and a couple other pieces that just really make up what this piece is. Now, I don't know what all the pieces are, and I'm gonna still share what everything is that I've discovered. If I know the name, then I have the name. But I thought I'd go and show you this. Now, the other thing I've done on this panel, so again, got those parts, measure them up. So again, thank you so much to James. I got those parts, measure them up, and then had to make some adjustments. So then I started actually making all the adjustments to my Illustrator file to match these pieces. Some things I actually had to decrease on, like one dial I could only get 3, thankfully, because all I could really fit was 3 instead of the 4 that's on there, which again will go, you see, but I wanted to get this done. Plus I had my custom panel, and I wanted to get that design, and I did design it, and here's a picture of it. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna explain it in a second here as well. But I had to make sure everything was gonna fit in our final piece here. So I took the time to actually go over it and think about, hey, what's specific? What can we change? And how do you tell that? How do you tell that? So I printed them off black and white at full size. As much as I could, sheet of paper. I think it took me 17 large sheets of paper, cardstock, so I can get an idea of how it's gonna go. So I'm gonna go over that here in a second. But everything fits pretty much the way I envisioned. I'm very, very happy. You'll be able to see that in a second here. But as you can see, everything is pretty much fitting. And the scale of this thing is amazing. See how long my cord can go here to show you this. But you can really get an idea about how big this guy is. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. I still got a few things to do here. Now, I want to do this because I'm going to cut everything out, and then I'm going to figure out how to make all the pieces combine together, and then then what I'll do is cut all the windows out that need to be cut out. Then I'll start the filling and sanding stage. So there's a lot more to do here, but let's just take a quick look at each panel, and I will pop the camera off for this. Whoop. There we go. Okay, so first of all, we've got this panel here. So this is one of the things. So I was able to find, James found me 3 of these guys. These guys are a lot of fun. They spin independently. There's a double kind of dial here thing. They seem to be some sort of aviation part. They are Bowman instrument dual speed drives, which are pretty cool. DSD-7. So if you're looking for these, that's what those are. They go right here. So after I got the size of them, I got them. So hey, great. But there's supposed to be 4. I can only get 3. Thankfully, I can only fit 3. I tried to see if I could fit 4, but it made this actually incredibly cramped. So there you go. So just so you can see, because this is very, very blobby, and this is gonna be the switches here. There's gonna be some LED lights here. This is a PTO switch of some sort. This is gonna be the nice, handle there. The big throttles there, they're all custom made. These will all be lights, and then some more things. As we go through, we'll discover more and more pieces. But that's how this panel looks. I think it looks pretty good. Next panel up, which I've already made some changes to, but is this one. So this one has the keys. So I took apart the keyboard, which I showed the picture of, and I have, whoop, lots of the little keys. Whoop. They all have fun little names and words on them all. So I tried to painstakingly decide and figure out which keys are used on the actual one. I don't have great pictures, but sometimes you can see if they got a single line or if they have lights. Some of these actually have lights. Let me see if I can find one here for you. There's another gray one. There you go. And this is a mechanical keyboard, so that means all of them are on these little back slots here. When I took it apart, I was able to measure the pieces it was in. It was a metal keyboard, and it was actually from Indianapolis, which is kind of interesting. So that's what these are. These are not the button sizes, but they are the button holes. It's going to be here. Some LEDs. This will be a phone spot. Some dials, switches, and everything. These 3 lights here. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have the name for these, but they are these. Oop. These guys. I have 3 of them. 3 of them go there. Excellent, finding them. There's some more parts on this one that's coming, which is gonna be great. Switchboards, these little switch guys here. I don't know how well you can see them. I've identified these. I have them on order. Same with the sliders on here, but I had to really get everything to fit as well as possible. So I'm pretty excited about that. Next up, we have this guy here. The one part I have here, again, I have parts on here that I've actually identified. They are coming, but I have this brass guy, and it goes here. Can't actually hold it on there. Some of the parts you're gonna see that I've actually stuck down. I couldn't do that with that one, but that one looks pretty awesome. It's gonna have a big cutout window here, so I have to figure out all the dimensions of that and then have that laser cut. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Next up, we have this panel. Got the galvanometer, which is an exact replica of the one, well, not even replica, it's the exact model and everything of the one that's in the actual show. This will have to be cut out as a big window. Everyone turns it to my shelf. This guy right here, this black piece here, is another part that I was able to correctly identify right here. Beautiful piece. Hopefully I'll be able to make it go somehow. That's my plan. Make it all go as much as possible. Some switches here, or dial switches here. 2 more windows I have to cut out. I call them windows mainly because they're just kind of even. So this here is a shelf. These here are windows, if that makes a lot of sense. Here we are coming around closer to my light here, so I apologize for being blown right out. Let's just turn that away. There we go. All right, so this window here, I have to find a monitor to go here. But here are my slow motion dials. As you can see, it's a slow motion. That's pretty cool. I don't have one for this side, but I will. But as you can see, everything's kind of fitting the way I want it to fit. Can't wait to get that and get those all going. And then I'm gonna put this back on the tripod here because I kind of want to show it and describe it. But my custom panel. So a few things I wanted to reference specifically was my favorite doctor is Tom Baker. And there's a number of things I want to reference in this panel, because again, I didn't like the little jelly panel. So this is kind of referencing it. It does have a number of rows to kind of reference the same and even have the same kind of shapes. So I kept that visual aesthetic the same as, I'm going to throw up an image right here, which is going to show my entire circle or hexagon of everything, so you can get an idea of how it fits. So just to go over it real quick, this bottom panel here will be a shelf, like those other ones that I mentioned that are shelves, and it's going to slant down. The middle one here is a window, so it pops down, and this here is going to be a black piece of metal, similar to the ones on this panel actually. We have these guys here, these big black squares will be these. I had some great parts donated to me by Jay that he had like, you know, laying around. One of them is this guy here, some sort of phase switch, but it switches really cool. So I got two of these, and they're gonna go in these black spots. Here is gonna be some of my extra buttons from the keyboard. There's a number of extra buttons, so I thought let's use them, put them here, and I can click them away. Got a nice little power or push to reset button. I don't know if you can see that. Got a couple of these, so they're going to go here. I want to have some sliding bits, like the old classic TARDIS. And then I still have lots of space for other stuff. This middle area is going to be full of those rectangular buttons, light up buttons, like the wooden console that Tom Baker used. And I'm really excited to find those and get those. And this will have a secret door that opens up, and you can click away and close it down. So yeah, you can basically get an idea. There's still a lot to do on here. There's a lot to figure out. I'll give you another close-up of this panel, just so you can get an eye on it. So there you go. As you can see, it does reference that panel. It's pretty fun, pretty cool. Still retains the overall look and feel of this particular console. Got some great dials and switches. Got some other dials that I can put here that I didn't mention, but you'll see them as the build happens more. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm pretty excited overall about how this particular console's come together, and I can't wait to actually get everything together to put in here. So again, my next stages are, this was a stage that mattered because I had to make sure everything was fitting. Now all the sizes were gonna matter. So I'm gonna find a way to cut them all out nice and neat. And then I'm going to start filling, sanding, making sure everything fits in here properly, well in here, and go from there. So put this back here. I'm pretty excited. I hope that you guys have been really excited watching this so far, and if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, just ask me down in the comments below. So much more to do on this. I can't wait to go even more in detail. Thank you very much for watching all these longish videos. The show and tell is going to be amazing. It's all going to be interactive. There's going to be lights and sound. And there will be a big column right here for sure. There's going to be a huge column. Lights and spinning. You name it, I'm going to try my best to make it work. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and or Twitter, the links are in the description below. Again, ask me all your questions down in the comments, and be sure to click over there to subscribe. Click my little logo there. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe. I'm gonna have more and more of these videos. It's not quite a weekly series, but every week I'm gonna have a build video. It has been centered on this console for the last while, so if you wanna keep up on those, definitely subscribe over there. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for all those who subscribed so far. And as always, thanks for watching.